Hey everyone, Effie here. Today I'm going to show you how I colored this card using Copic markers and colored pencils. So I'm going to start off by stamping this beautiful floral cluster from our Gardenia wishes set. And it's one of the new 6x6 clear photopolymer stamp sets that was released in our most recent fall 2018 release. So since I'll be doing some Copic coloring, I'm going to stamp this cluster in our Caviar hybrid ink, which is a Copic friendly ink. So after I stamp this with the assistance of my original Misti, I'm going to start my coloring. I'm going to use my B32 pale blue, and I'm going to add this darker shade of blue to all the inner corners or portions of my gardenia petals. Then I'm going to take my B60 pale blue-gray Copic marker, and I'm going to color in the rest of the petal, leaving a little bit of a white edge near the outer edge of the petal. So for the B32, I'm going to color in about a third of the way up towards the petal, and then I'm going to blend that color out just a little bit with the lighter B60, and I'm going to repeat this for all of the petals. When I plan on coloring using colored pencils, I like to mix in a little bit of Copic coloring as well. And the reason for this is that you get a nice even coverage for your base layer of color in your coloring when you use this technique. When you just color outright with colored pencils, you can kind of see the strokes of your coloring, and I wanted a more even tone underneath the color pencil accents. So this is what I like to do. I like to use my Copics as my first layer of color, so I get that nice, smooth, even, soft coverage. And then I end up going back in with some colored pencils. The color pencils that I'm going to use for today's video, I'm using Polychromos Faber-Castell. I think that's how you pronounce it. I apologize if I am mispronouncing it, but I am using my Polychromos pencils. If you have Prismacolors or any other brands, that will work, because honestly, for the purpose of this project, I'm just using the colored pencils to add a little bit of shaded elements, and you don't need fancy pencils. This is just what I have on hand. Honestly, I've gotten really beautiful results with Crayola color pencils. So now I'm just going to start adding my shaded elements, and I'm using 3 shades of color pencils. I have a mid-tone blue, a darker tone blue, and then a purple tone color pencil. It's kind of a mid-tone to dark purple. I, for the life of me, cannot remember the exact colors that I chose. I just kind of randomly chose a lighter blue, darker blue, and a purple from my pencil case. So I apologize that I can't tell you the exact shades. So I went in with my lighter toned blue pencil, and I just went up about maybe halfway up each petal, and I just went in with a very light touch, and I'm adding a little bit of shading just to add a little bit of interest and depth. Now you can see that I color the petals. I'm kind of going side to side, and I'm doing this with a very light touch. If you are a beginner and you are practicing coloring, I would suggest making your strokes parallel to the direction that the petal is growing. So if your petal is coming, if it's more vertical on your page, I would recommend coloring uh, in up and down strokes instead of side to side, because you're going to be able to see those strokes that you made, and it'll just look more natural if you're going or coloring in the direction where your petal is growing. But if you have a light touch, then I would just color whichever way you feel comfortable. Honestly, this is coloring. There's no right or wrong way to do this. So I'm bringing that lighter toned blue color pencil up about halfway, and after I color in each of the petals using this lighter tone blue, I'm just going to go in with the darker color pencil, the darker blue color pencil, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit of shading to each petal. So you don't want to completely cover the area that you just colored with your lighter blue. You just want to color in a little bit of that inner portion of the petal using the darker blue, because if you go over that entire area where you just colored the lighter blue, you're just going to kind of end up with a petal that doesn't have that gradient that we're going for. But if that's the look that you're going for, go for it. There's no right or wrong way to do this. This is just the look that I'm going for. So after I've shaded in each of the petals using both of my color pencils, the lighter blue and the darker blue, I am going to go in with my purple color pencil. It's kind of a purple plum-ish hue, and I feel like it matches that second Copic marker that I used, which has kind of a periwinkle undertone. So that's why I chose to go with this purple color pencil in addition to the blue ones that I chose. So for the purple or plum color pencil that I chose, I'm just going to add tiny accents of purple to each of the petals. Now you're not really going to be able to see it that well because we have a nice strong presence of blue, but the purple accents, it's going to be a kind of an undertone, and you're going to notice it once you finish coloring everything in, but it's going to be very, very subtle, and I feel like it just goes really nicely with that second Copic marker that we use. Now I'm just going to turn on some music, and basically I'm going to color in all of my gardenia blooms the same way that I colored in this bloom. Once I finish coloring in all of the actual florals, I'm going to go ahead and color in the leaves using several shades of Copic markers. I went with a minty tone for my leaves today. So all the colors that I used for the Copics, I made sure to place the cap on screen so that you know exactly which Copic marker I used. So my coloring is now complete. I'm just going to take one of the sentiments from the same Gardenia Wishes set, and I'm going to stamp it using our Noir dye ink. Once I've stamped the sentiment, all there is left to do is to mount this colored panel onto a top folding A2 base, and I didn't do it on camera, but I will later on. So I hope you all enjoyed today's card and video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel because I update it on a weekly basis. I'll see you next time.